Hey everyone, this is Mike from the On the Stack podcast at iceworm.org/magic, back with another Tiny Leaders deck video. Our commander in this deck is Mirri Cat Warrior. She costs 1 and 2 green for a 2/3 with First Strike, Forest Walk, and Vigilance. We're going to move into our lands. I just have 19 forests. Into our creatures, I have 1 Anarch Guide, 1 and a green for a 1/1. You can either put a 1/1 counter on this creature, or you can search your library for a basic land card, reveal it, shuffle your library, and put that card, the land on top of it. I have 1 Beastbreaker of Balaged, 1 and a green for a 2/2, and you can also level it up, and it gets stronger each whenever you level it up. So 1 to 3 is a 4/4, and when it gets to level 4 and higher, it gets 6/6, and it also gains trample. I have 1 Cat Warriors, cost 1 colorless, 2 green for a 2/2 with Forest Walk. I have 1 Civic Wayfinder, 2 and a green for a 2/2. When it enters the battlefield, you may search your library for a basic land, reveal it, and put that land into your hand, and then shuffle your library. I have 1 Managorger Hydra, 2 colorless, 1 green for a 1/1 with Trample, and whenever a spell is cast, it gets a 1/1 counter. I have 1 Marsh Boa, a 1/1 for 1 green with Swamp Walk. Mirri, we already talked about her. I have 1 Pendlehaven Elder, 1 and a green for a 1/1. You can tap it to give each 1/1 creature you control +1/+2 until the end of turn. I have 1 River Boa, 1 and a green for a 2/1 with Island Walk, and it can regenerate. I have 1 Chandelier Dryads, 1 green for a 1/1 with Forest Walk. 1 Unseen Walker, 1 and a green for a 1/1 with Forest Walk, and I can also pay 1 and 2 green to give a creature that I control gains Forest Walk until the end of turn. And I have 1 Whirling Dervish, 2 green for a 1/1, has protection from black, and at the end of turn, if it dealt damage to an opponent, it gets a 1/1 counter. Moving into our enchantments, I have 1 Familiar Ground, costs 2 and a green. Each creature you control can't be blocked by more than 1 creature each combat, so it makes everything can only be blocked by 1, which is pretty good. 1 Instill Energy. This is a kind of a weird card. It's been reworded since then, but this program is using the old version. So it costs 1 green. It basically gives a creature haste, and it lets you untap that creature at the end of your turn. So essentially, it gains vigilance. We have 1 Nylea's Presence, 1 and a green, enchant land. When it enters the battlefield, draw a card, and enchanted land is every basic land type in addition to its other types. So you play this on one of your opponent's lands, you turn whatever land they have into all types of lands. So essentially, your forest walk creatures, if they don't have a forest, your opponents now have a forest that you can forest walk all over. I have 1 Primal Rage for 1 and a green. Creatures you control gain trample. Into our instance, I have 1 Aspect of Hydra, Hail Hydra. Target creature gets +X/+X until the end of turn, where X is your devotion to green. So you can use this to ramp up a creature. Hopefully one that has Forest Walk so it can just do a lot of damage. 1 Early Harvest, 1 and 2 green. Target player untaps all basic lands he or she controls. So if you're tapped out, you can. I guess you wouldn't be able to play it when you're tapped out. But if you need an extra mana, you can play this and untap the rest of your lands. I have 1 Gnaw to the Bone, 2 and a green. You gain 2 life for each creature card in your graveyard. You can also play it for its flashback cost and essentially play it again. And you gain life for each creature that's in your graveyard. 1 Might of Old Krosa, which is 1 green. Target creature gains +2/+2 until the end of turn. And if you play it during your main phase, that creature gets 4/4 until the end of turn instead. So play it during your main phase to get something really strong. Hopefully something that has Forest Walk, and then you can Forest Walk all over your opponent. I have 1 Reclaim for 1 green. Put target card from your graveyard on top of your library. So if you have that Nylea's Presence on an opponent, and that opponent dies, and that card goes to the graveyard, you can use this to get Nylea's Presence back on top of your library, draw it the next turn, and play it on another opponent, giving them a forest if they don't already have one, and then land walking on them. I have 1 Strength in Numbers, 1 in a green. Till the end of turn, target creature gains trample and +X/+X, where X is the number of attacking creatures. So you swing for a bunch of creatures, and one of them will get that value +X. I have 1 Titanic Growth, 1 in a green. Target creature gains 4/4 until the end of turn. Again, use this on something that has Forest Walk. If you're attacking or if you're defending, use it on one of your defenders and make it so it can survive an attack. I have 1 Vines of Vastwood. It costs 1 green. You can also pay an additional green as the kicker cost. Target creature can't be the target of spells or abilities your opponent's control, and if Vines of Vastwood was kicked, it gets 4/4 until the end of turn. I have one Vitalize, one green. Untap all creatures you control. So if you attack with a bunch of creatures and you're about to take a heavy attack, you can use Vitalize, untap all your creatures, and have them be able to block. And finally, we have one Wild Might. Target creature gains 1/1 until the end of turn, and it gets an additional 4/4 until the end of turn, unless any player pays 2 colorless. So you do this when somebody's tapped out, and then you get the 1/1 plus a 4/4. Into our sorceries, I have one Map the Wastes, 2 in a green, search your library for a basic land card, put it onto the battlefield tapped, and shuffle your library, and also bolster 1. One Rampant Growth for 1 in a green, search your library for a basic land card, put that card onto the battlefield tapped, and then shuffle your library. One Stream of Life, target player gains X life, so you can gain a bunch of life if you really need it. I have one Thrive, X in a green, put a 1/1 counter on each of X target creatures, so you can buff up your creatures with this. And finally, we have one Untamed Wilds, 2 in a green, search your library for a Plains, Island, Swamp, Mountain, or Forest card and put that into play and then shuffle your library. This card's been reworded since it was printed. It just now says look for your library for a basic land and put it into play. So, a lot of creatures with Forest Walk, a lot of spells to buff up the creatures. Mirri has Vigilance as well. So, especially if you get Nylea's Presence out, you can give somebody a forest that doesn't have a forest and then use all your Forest Walk abilities. And the Unseen Walker is nice because you can give Forest Walk to a creature that doesn't normally have Forest Walk. This is a pretty fun deck. I'm probably going to bring this deck out to Nertacular in a couple days. I hope to see some of you guys there. I'm going to be bringing some Tiny Leaders decks and probably a standard deck as well. Again, rate, comment, and subscribe. And I want to thank you for watching, and have a good one.